One of the puppies in our current litter is showing clear signs of deafness, and I wanted to take a moment to explain what that means biologically, how we identify it, and what happens next. In Dalmatians, deafness is congenital and linked to the genetics behind their white coat and spotting pattern. It occurs when melanocytes, the pigment-producing cells, fail to populate parts of the inner ear. These melanocytes maintain the delicate chemical environment that supports the cochlear hair cells, which convert sound vibrations into electrical signals the brain can interpret. Without those melanocytes, the hair cells degenerate early in development, leading to sensory neural deafness, where sound can no longer be transmitted through the auditory pathway. Starting around 2 to 3 weeks of age, as the puppy's ear canals begin to open, we start performing individual home hearing checks to get an early picture of hearing development. These include clapping or jingling keys behind them, tapping the floor for vibration, and watching for startle or orientation responses. It's not diagnostic, but it helps us identify possible hearing differences early on. All of the puppies except one are showing consistent responses to sound. Now, she initially was showing responses, but just over the past week, I've noticed that she consistently reacts only to movement or vibration, not to auditory cues. These are strong indicators of bilateral deafness, though we'll have to confirm that through formal testing. The BAER test, which stands for Brainstem Auditory Evoked Response, is the gold standard for confirming hearing. It measures electrical activity in the brain in response to sound and can determine whether each ear is normal, unilaterally deaf, or bilaterally deaf. The ideal testing window is between 5 and 8 weeks of age. We had our appointment scheduled for closer to 8 weeks, but since I'm confident in what I'm seeing, we'll be moving it up slightly for earlier confirmation. That allows us to begin early intervention training right away, using hand signals, vibration cues, and visual routines during the critical learning stage. What's remarkable is how naturally dogs adapt. Even before testing, she's already mapping out her environment through scent, touch, and spatial memory. She knows where her crate, food, and litter mates are by routine alone, and she's extremely responsive and confident with other adult dogs. As I began to suspect her deafness, I began introducing her to her grandmother, which is Nova, who also happens to be the pack leader of our dogs. Nova is incredibly intelligent with a wonderful temperament, and her and I have a great connection, so because she's reliable, she's often the first adult dog that puppies meet outside of their mom, and in this instance, her response to the puppy, her use of very direct but gentle correction, the way she sniffed the puppy, all of this confirmed for me that the puppy's a little different. And of course, dogs don't label differences like we label differences, right? Their incredible senses of smell allow them to detect things that we never could. So with this puppy, Nova very likely senses that there's something different about her and reacts accordingly. Me knowing Nova very well, I am very confident in her ability to teach puppies the right way to interact with others. Another simple small change that we've made for the puppy is leaving a nightlight on for her at bedtime so she can orient visually, and she navigates confidently and calmly. This topic is fascinating to me for many reasons, partly because it's a genetic anomaly, and partly because it directly affects a breed so many of us love. There's currently no way to predict or prevent it, right? The parents of this litter are both Sheik certified, bilaterally hearing, and fully health tested. Deafness in Dalmatians involves multiple interacting genes, not a single cause, which makes it unpredictable even in well-planned pairings. Statistically, our own results are consistent with the breed as a whole, roughly 70% bilaterally hearing, 18 to 20% unilateral, and about 10 to 11% bilateral deaf, which is slightly above the breed average, but still within the expected range. And while our bilateral rate is trending high in this particular pairing, I still believe the LUA, the low uric acid genetics, bring enormous value to the breed long term. In my opinion, I would still rather see a deaf puppy in an otherwise healthy litter than a dog facing a lifetime risk of painful urate stone. So we will continue working closely with veterinary specialists and under their direct advisement determine whether or not to repeat this pairing in the future. But if you have any questions or if you'd like to learn more about deafness in Dalmatians, how it occurs and how to recognize the signs, I'll be including some educational links in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll be posting an update specifically on her after we have our BAER test this coming week.